Korge Show at Miami Community News, the hub for local news and information in South Florida. And I've got my good friend, Josh Leibman, City of South Miami Commissioner, joining me today on the show. We got lots of topics, but Josh, before we start talking about some of the real unbelievable topics going on in our world today, I want you to note that I'm wearing my Florida Gator hat this morning.
Go
and
Gators.
The reason isn't because I'm that big of a fan, quite frankly. It's because of this. Look at this hair. It is getting worse and worse by the day. I'm losing it constantly. I'm going to do a recap on these shows of every show and how badly the hair is going. I see it in the drain of as I shower at home. I mean, it's not good.
Are you sure those aren't your pubes, Andy?
I'm not sure what it is. Okay. But I kept thinking about Michael Miller as I was, after I took a shower last night.
Andy, I'm sorry. Let me recap this. When you're in the shower looking at the drain, you're thinking of Michael Miller.
Okay. Because my hair was in that drain. And up on the screen, Tommy has brought up what Michael Miller looked like before he got his hair plugs. And I was amazed when I learned just a few weeks ago that Michael Miller's hair is not real. I mean, there he is. You can see it's Michael Miller. He was losing all the hair on the front of his head. And bingo, he goes and gets his plugs. I always thought plugs looked horrible. Like you could tell them, you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, we have a guy like Michael Miller has completely changed my perception of hair plugs. And I'm wondering, and I ask you this, Josh, Tommy, you could join in whenever you want. Tommy the Chode
Speaking
Stitt
of
over
great
there.
hair, Tommy Stitz.
Tommy Stitt. Tommy the Chode Stitt over there. Tommy, so guys, should I do it or not? I mean, look at Michael. You know Michael Miller, right? He's got a full head of hair.
Yeah, but I think you could probably go for like the Sean Connery look. He didn't have plugs, did he?
No. And he was very masculine, yes. What do you think, Josh?
And we need a new Sean Connery.
Jason Statham,
we need
he's
someone
bald.
to step into those shoes, Andy. But to touch on a few things you said, first of all, I would disagree. I would say that it's still real hair. Second, in terms of your premature bald, if I may say, you're making up for it with facial hair. You also said that you're not the largest Gator fan. I don't know when you can say that when you're wearing your famous orange shirt, just color coordinated with your hat. And then, Andy, you also said
my shoes. Oh, by the way.
Let's see those shoes.
Color coordinated shoes as well. Look at
and
that.
Nikes, no less.
Yes.
The team sponsor.
Exactly.
In addition, you said you were losing it. I wasn't sure if you were referring to your hair or you're just losing it in general.
Well, after almost a year of living through COVID, I'm losing it. Yeah. In many, many different ways. But I don't know, anyone out there watching, comment, whether it's now or later, send me your comments. Should I do it? Should I improve this? I mean, there's a lot of improvement that could occur right here on this cassava melon of a head of mine. So
melon is a good choice of words, considering that may be the color of your shirt, Andy. And in addition, you know that there is another option, and you were offered that option from the blonde barber, which is to tattoo hair on your head, right? Didn't you consider that?
Josh, thank you. I had forgot all about that.
How can you forget about the blonde barber?
Well, I didn't forget about the blonde barber. The thing is, when you go visit the blonde barber, you're not focused on anything she says because she's so beautiful. So yes, that's right. She has a procedure now. I don't recall what the name of it is, but they in essence tattoo little bitty dots on your head that make it look like you have a full head of hair. My only problem with that is, what if that doesn't look good? I mean, that's not something you can easily fix, right?
Well, the way you fix it is you connect the dots, Andy. As you start to lose more hair, you start adding more dots.
Well, that's how the procedure works. Actually, the way she explained it to me, and she offered to do it to me for free as a promotion for her.
Offered to do what to you for free, Andy?
The dotted head.
Okay.
And I don't say that in any derogatory term, dotted head. Okay. I just want to make it clear here because, as you know, Facebook listens to these programs and discriminates
but
against
only
us
for
in terms of
advertising purposes.
You know, I want to bring that up, by the way. I don't know if you know this, Tommy, But I did a show here with there he is. There's Michael Miller. I did a show here on Monday with CJ Jimenez, the son of our congressperson, Carlos Jimenez. And Facebook would not allow us to distribute that show. There was nothing that we said that incited anyone. We just got in a debate over Democrats, Republicans, what's happening in Washington, local politics, things that people are interested in. And Facebook found that it is not going to allow us to distribute that program the way we typically distribute programs. Something's got to give with these social media platforms and what they're doing. But let's move on. So Grant Miller, now
but
Michael
before we
Miller,
do, I want to say, as a result of that, I think Facebook's going to pull all your advertising, Andy, and you should be concerned because I just saw Michael Miller walk in. And after that bit about him, you may want to be a little more concerned about your job security here.
I got you. So Michael's got a great head of hair, right?
He does.
And Andy Korge is maybe interested in doing that. Michael's going to refer me to his doctor that performed that incredible. I mean, that's miraculous. Really.
I know him. He's a family friend. Grew up with him. Good friend
What's
of my
his
father's. Daryl Blinsky.
Blinsky. That's right. And so, but I wonder.
The office is in South Miami.
But I wonder. I'm a little skeptical about it because Grant has not gone to him, and Grant's head is not looking too good these days. But I wonder, and Tommy, maybe you know, does Grant dye his hair?
Did you say Grant Miller died?
No. I said, does Grant Miller dye his hair? I think he does.
So when Grant Miller says, Grant Miller here, it's actually, he's here. I thought he was saying Grant Miller's hair.
No.
Oh, I thought he was making fun of his own
Grant Miller,
hair.
who just, by the way, last Friday turned 64 years of age.
He looks great for 75.
And he looks great. He has not done what his brother Michael did, which looks fantastic, Michael. I'm not criticizing. I think it looks great, although Michael has, a silver fox kind of look about him, right? He's got that gray hair and
Silver Fox now you're trying to make up for the
yeah, I'm trying to stay on the air here. So he has this, silver thing going, so he doesn't worry about dyeing his hair. But Grant, that's got to be a dye. Any insight on that, Tommy, the Chode Stitt?
I'm thinking definitely it's a dye job.
It's a dye job?
Yeah. Now, Misty Buck, her brother is his barber or salonist, stylist or whatever. So I think we have to go to that source to verify.
And that'll be an episode of Grant Miller's hair.
Maybe we could get him. Maybe we could get him to Zoom or stream in, and we could ask him. Yeah, that'd be great. You know what? Let's try to do that for tomorrow. Let's get him on.
Sure. Maybe we can engage the audience, and they'll allow them to vote on the color.
The color he should put in there. I mean, the show is worse by the minute. Just a little. Maybe Facebook won't allow the show. That would be good. You may want to have a little decorum. Oh, Amy, come on in, Amy. Have decorum with us. We would love to talk to you this morning, Amy. Thanks for the comment. So there we are. We got Grant with the dye. We got Michael with the plugs. And we have a guy that went into the Super Bowl and streaked. And it was Josh, maybe the greatest scam of all time.
Maybe the best halftime show of all time.
Well, I don't know if it occurred. I don't remember when during the game it occurred. I know it was during a break or of some sort. Maybe it was halftime. But let's take a look at what happened.
Get $90 off at homechef.com.
Okay, so we're going to take a look right now at what occurred at the Super Bowl. Probably the best play, the most exciting play of the game. Here we go.
Are we going to superimpose Tommy's face on the streaker?
No. There he is.
Oh, he has the famous Borat bathing suit, only in pink.
Yes, he does. He gets chased. Looks like a pretty good athlete.
Fairly nimble.
Very nimble.
Andy, why don't you do some commentary?
I mean, look, if they pummel him, I mean, it's really, whenever I see this, I think to myself, man, who would want to embarrass themselves in that regard? Well, it turns out that Yuri Andrade is the gentleman that did that. It turns out that Yuri placed a $50,000 bet on whether a streaker would run onto the field of the Super Bowl. Apparently, you guys know there's crazy prop bets that occur with every Super Bowl. You know, the toss of the coin at the beginning of the game, the national anthem. Will the singer flub up a word in the national anthem? I believe was one of the prop bets this year.
Assuming they're still singing the national anthem.
Assuming they will, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's all kinds of crazy prop bets. Well, it turns out Yuri Andrade, who lives, not coincidentally, I think the greatest scams in the world always seem to emanate somehow from Miami or South Florida or the state of Florida, lives in Boca Raton. So it turns out that he had apparently claims he placed a $50,000 prop bet, that someone would run streak at the Super Bowl on the field. And, you know, the more I thought about this, the more I thought, is this guy a genius or what? I mean, and will the prop bet, the place where he placed the prop bet, the bookie, pay off on that? Or has he already gotten paid on it? I mean, the news came out so soon afterwards that I wondered, did he taint his ability to collect on that bet? And it was an amazing occurrence. I just, you know, or is it just a loophole? I mean, where on the bet, and Tommy, I know you like to place a lot of prop bets. Where is it on a bet that says that you can't influence it in some way, shape, or form? Is it cheating?
No, I think it's legit. I think they got to pay it. And what if it's the other guy that got the ticket, not his buddy, that he was the decoy?
He had a decoy?
Yeah, he had a decoy. That's how he got on the field. He had one guy run out there and try to fake like he was going to do it. Meanwhile, he comes in through another access point and does the streak.
Are you guys surprised that this whole thing was started by a guy in Florida?
No, like you said, Andy, everything just seems to emanate out of Florida, especially South Florida, being that we're a tax haven state. We also usually attract criminals after the fact, right? But a couple of things. One thing we can do is we could bet on it, right?
Great idea.
We could bet on whether
maybe that's a new prop bet, right?
Yeah, who knows? Additionally, streaker is an interesting term because you only did this once. So in order to be a true streaker, you have to do it more than once.
I guess.
That's how you develop a real streak.
Well, you know, I remember in the 70s during the Super Bowl, it was like a common appearance when streaking had become popular, you know, college campuses.
And was he streaking? Because he was fully clothed.
He was clothed, although he had that ridiculous looking one-piece bikini.
We call them onesies, Andy.
Onesies, okay. Well, you know the terms better than I. But it was interesting that he wore that, and I wonder, that's a good term. Is that considered streaking then? I mean, well,
two things. He had clothes on, and it was only one attempt. A real streak is the Raven, who runs on South Beach every day for 40 some odd years.
And he runs, what do you mean, the Raven?
You ever heard of the Raven?
No.
He runs every single day from the same location on South Beach, 8 miles a day. And we're going to get him on your show. And he's done so, I'm guessing, for close to 40 years.
Wow.
Sure. He's been featured on ESPN, HBO Real Sports, Sports Illustrated.
And he runs naked?
Oh, he doesn't run naked. But it's a streak. He runs every single day.
I see.
It's not a one and done. Like
how many days?
I can't tell you the days or the miles, but he can. But I say 35 to 40 years.
Wow, every day. Well, so there you are. I mean, really, just an amazing story to me that someone would be able to win $375,000 by embarrassing themselves in front of arguably billions of people watching on TV during the Super Bowl game. I thought it was an incredible an incredible thing. And again, Yuri Andrade, who I would love to have on this show and find out how he thought that up and try to figure out why exactly I didn't think that up. You know, I would have split it with you, Josh, and you could have run on the field and streaked, and we could have split the $375,000.
I'll take that bet.
Well, there you go. So,
but in his defense,
yes.
Still, right, even if he controlled the outcome, he had to procure the ticket, right? He had to place the bet. So there's 2 initial investments, and you have to get on the field during the Super Bowl when security was as tight as ever was due to COVID, and there were what percent of the fans were in the audience?
There was only, I think, 14,000 fans in the stands, so it was very limited. The other thing is he had to buy a ticket to get in. So I mean, tickets were
still wasn't easy to pull off.
No, not easy to pull off at all. I mean, tickets were going online for $20,000, $22,000, $24,000 a piece because of the limited nature of the tickets, all of the Tom Brady fans, it being in the hometown, in Tampa, in their home stadium, the Bucs home stadium. There you go. I mean, that was specifically for you, Amy. That's specifically for you because we know how tasteful you want these shows to be. So there you go. They were going to the quad and going streaking. So I don't know. I think that it was a brilliant maneuver, a scam that could only be bred in Florida because we're the kings of those types of spreads. And again, maybe it's just a loophole. Maybe it's not cheating. I don't know. I don't view it as cheating at all. Tommy, do you?
No. I mean, I wish I would have thought it up too. You know.
It's not too late, Tommy. You could run behind us right here.
You guys,
I don't know that there are any prop bets on that, actually.
The Andy Korge show.
Yes. As I streak out of it, thanks to Amy. Thank you, Amy. I'm going to streak right out of this building and never come back again, much to her pleasure. But
after your comments, Andy, your job security is in question.
So now, Tommy, you're the betting guy here at Miami Community News. Will this bet ever be up there again?
Well,
I don't think
let's
so.
clarify that. Tommy's the betting guy, but we both have better averages.
Tommy, is it going to happen again next year? Will I be able to bet on a streak?
Pretty sure you won't be able to do that.
Pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
That bet, by the way, has been in place for years. And that's the last thing I want to say on this topic, which is, it's amazing as long as that prop bet has been on for the Super Bowl, no one has ever thought of that before. To place a huge bet and to pay someone. I mean, I wouldn't have done it myself. I'd have paid someone to do it.
Well, Andy, that's because it's football, not baseball.
So there you go. And man, cheating's okay when it's the baseball team doing it. But if it's somebody placing a bet, that's a little different. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday what happened in the NBA. And I want to talk about this and really get your opinions. And it's funny, but yet it gets serious. So yesterday, Mark Cuban, we all know Mark Cuban. He is the famed owner of the Dallas Mavericks, billionaire. You see him on, I think it's Shark Tank or one of those. He's been on, TV reality shows, etc. Very well known. Well, as the owner of the Mavericks, he made an announcement yesterday that he was doing away with the playing of the national anthem before Dallas Maverick basketball games. And that was immediately shut down by the NBA. The NBA said, no, sorry, Mark Cuban, you are going to play the national anthem before Dallas Maverick basketball games. Mark's attitude was he wanted to eliminate it in essence in order to avoid all the controversy that's involved with the playing of the national anthem. I mean, we've been dealing with this controversy since Colin Kaepernick, which was 5-6 years ago, taking a knee during NFL games when the national anthem is played. I remember as a kid, the national anthem, first off, as a kid, my dad used to take me to Miami Dolphin games. I remember the national anthem being played before the players ever came onto the field. Why they required the players to be on the field during the playing of the national anthem, I don't quite understand. And I thought that controversy could have been easily eliminated by doing what they did years ago, which was did not come out of the field on the field until the national anthem was played. But the reason that they didn't do, the players were on the field, is because they wanted the national anthem to be played while the TV coverage was on. In prior years, it was on before the TV coverage started. And the reason for that is this: it's money. It's all about the Benjamins, as they say. The marketing departments of the military have been filtering lots of money to these pro leagues. And part of that caveat is play the national anthem as a show of patriotism during the television coverage. And that's why they moved that up to the place where it is now. Why the national anthem is played at all, I agree with Mark Cuban. And although the NBA, and he backtracked later saying, well, I really wasn't going to do that, because quite frankly, he got bitch slapped by the NBA for doing it. But I wonder, why is it that we have the national anthem played before games? The history of it is that it was introduced before sporting events during World War I as a show of patriotism. And I get it. I get why it was being done then. We were a country at war, a world war. And subsequently, it occurred again during World War II and after World War II, directly after World War II. But why does it continue today? Why is it sporting events? Why not concerts? Why not Broadway shows?
Why not the Andy Korge show?
Why not before this show or before any TV show or internet a webcast? Why is it that it's just during and before sporting events? I think it's just what I said before: marketing dollars. It's all about the Benjamins for these leagues. And that's all that it's ever been about, is about money.
But wasn't that what it was about for Mark Cuban? Marketing, staying relevant, staying in the news, maybe catering to players or players in the NBA that aren't on the Mavericks?
I don't know necessarily. I think with Mark Cuban, I think it was about getting away from publicity. I think it was about not putting his players in a position where they're going to be criticized if they don't want to come out. Remember, the NBA is a little different than the NFL in that the NBA has told players, if you don't believe in standing for the national anthem, then stay in the locker room until the national anthem is played.
Yeah, I happen to think it was all about publicity for Mark Cuban and for the team.
You think so?
I do. And consider Dallas. It's one of the most patriotic cities and patriotic states.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine people in the Dallas area are not too happy with Mark Cuban right now because they're gun-toting, a type of a culture, sort of a conservative, right-leaning culture. So I you could be right. It probably was very unpopular in Dallas, I imagine. But here we are with this controversy again. And why is it that these leagues just don't do away with the national anthem? What's your opinion on that? Do you think the national anthem should be played before games, NBA, NFL, hockey, baseball, Major League Baseball? Do you think it should be played and sung? When I was a kid, you know what the end of I remember this distinctly. They'd play the national anthem and we'd take our hats off. We'd put it over our chest. We'd sing the national anthem. And then we would scream at the end of the national anthem. And the reason we were screaming, quite frankly, at least as a kid, was not for the national anthem. It was because that told us that the game was about to start and the players were about to come out of the tunnel in the old Orange Bowl and get into a game. That's how it all started. That's what it meant to me as a young kid, and probably most of the people in that stadium at the time. I wondered then, why are we singing the national anthem? This is a sports event. It has really nothing to do with our country per se. right? I wonder in England, before a soccer match, do they play? I don't know, Tommy, maybe you know. Do they play, or you can look that up, do they play their national anthem in Great Britain before a soccer game? I don't know. But it's a weird thing to me, Josh, and I wonder your opinion on it.
Well, I support it, and I think it is customary. I can't say this for sure. We can refer to Tommy here as he searches on Google, but I think it's done in every country, or I would assume it's done in every country, and as well as colleges, they sing the school song before games, and in addition to the national anthem. I just don't know what it is that offends people or that people are opposed to.
Well, it doesn't offend me necessarily that.
All right, so here's U.S. and Canada are the only countries in the world that do this. Europe doesn't do it.
There you go.
Champions League soccer doesn't play the English anthem, whatever that is.
Right. God save the Queen. Right.
All right. How do we know what they're playing if we don't understand the language? I know when I was in a soccer game in South America, they did.
They did in Colombia.
They did.
Yeah, I mean,
but maybe it wasn't right. Maybe it wasn't the anthem. Maybe it was.
It's not that I don't want to sound, unpatriotic, but it just seems like an odd place to be playing the national anthem for me. It seems out of place. Again, when I go to New York and I go to a Broadway play, why don't they play the national anthem before the play?
So if not sporting events, then where?
Well, I don't know, schools maybe. I don't know, at appropriate times.
But when in schools, we say the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning. In schools, we do so before commission meetings. If not, then when?
I don't know.
And is patriotism a bad thing?
No, I don't think it is. But here again, there's to certain people in the United States. Use Colin Kaepernick as an example. America's a different place for some people, especially people of color, than it is for others. And so look at Colin Kaepernick as an example. He has not played in the NFL for what, Tommy? 5 years, 6 years, 6 years. He has not played in the NFL. He is an NFL quarterback, unquestionably. Yet none of these billionaire owners want to allow him to be on his team simply because he knelt for the national anthem and started that wave with players. He felt there was inequities in our country. We've seen it in the last year with the George Floyd incident, with the Breonna Taylor incident. It's a tough thing to balance, an uncomfortable thing for a politician sitting next to me to discuss probably, but it's a reality of the world that we live in, and it means different things to different people. So why should we make individuals do that who don't believe in standing, putting their hand over their heart, taking their hat off, whatever the case may be? Why do we require them to do that? Related but separate topic, right? Mm-hmm. Not taking your hat off, not standing or kneeling, as opposed to not playing the national anthem altogether. Well, again, you see in other parts of the world, they're not doing it. Why in the United States? And it gets back to what I said before, which is, I think it has to do with really just at the end of the day, money. Have you ever been to a Dolphin game, guys, where they bring out a soldier and everyone stands up and claps? And I applaud people that serve our country, no question about it. But they'll do, well, now it's time for the Dolphins Serviceman of the Week. And we bring in, Colonel whatever from wherever, and he served here, here, and here. And they bring him out and people cheer. And I stand up and I take my hat off and I cheer for that person. But the Dolphins don't do that out of patriotism. They do that out of this, because they're getting money from the military to do that. That's why that occurs. It's not, Jim Ross and the Miami Dolphins saying, these guys are really serving our country. Let's honor them during games. That doesn't happen, guys. Don't think it does. If there's an exchange of money, I don't think we should, it detracts from it. Just like public service announcements, they have to pay for that airtime. Right. Well,
I just I don't think it detracts from it at all.
Well,
And
I don't know. I disagree with you, but I think that it certainly doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me feel that it's something that necessarily shouldn't be done, but I like to question the why of it. Why is it being done? And why are we, succumbing to that? And clearly it's they're creating a PR nightmare, I believe, in all of this. Owner says he doesn't want to do it. League says you have to do it. Fox News, chastises the hell out of everybody for Mark Cuban for wanting to do away with the playing of the national anthem before Dallas Maverick basketball games, NBA basketball games. So, there we are. It's a good discussion. I wonder what people watching this program might think about it. Anyone but Amy Livergood Donner, who obviously is not watching anymore, but anyone else that might be watching, I wonder what your feeling is regarding this. Tommy, what do you think?
Play it. Doesn't bother me. I mean, it's a tradition. It would seem weird if we didn't play it. Now, do we need all these other songs before? No. America the Beautiful or the Black Lives Matter anthem, whatever that is. But here, just play one.
Okay, but here, let me ask it in a different way, guys. Do you want your sports politicized? Have you been happy in the last, especially year or so, with all the politicization of our sports?
But isn't that what Mark Cuban's doing?
Well, he's trying to do away with it by getting rid of the national anthem. I think by doing that, he is saying, I don't want to mix politics with sports anymore. I'm tired of doing that. And we've seen the mixture of politics. I go to a sports event because I love sports and I want to watch the game itself. I don't go there and want to get into a political conversation or see political statements all over the place.
Yeah, I don't see it as political. I see it as patriotic. And that's one thing that all sides should agree on, is that they're patriotic and they're fighting for what they believe is best for this country out of patriotism. I don't see it as political.
Tommy, you don't?
No. Not at all.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear your opinion. Certainly, I'm interested in everyone's opinion and interested in everyone being able to express their opinion without being prejudiced. Guys like Colin Kaepernick, as an example, which has not been the case, unfortunately, for Mr. Kaepernick. But so let's conclude our show today. I'm sure that'll make Amy Livergood Donner very happy. But let's conclude our show today. Anything going on in South Miami that we're here in South Miami? Anything going on that you'd like people to know about, Commissioner Leibman?
No, I would just love for people to frequent South Miami, support our local businesses, which are certainly struggling. We have a lot of great restaurants. Probably what's most timely is that the Sunset Place property, the old bakery center, traded again. There's now a new owner, a local owner, the group that was behind Midtown. So they just acquired the property on December 31st of last year. So that's our largest property, largest taxpayer. It's the epicenter, Dade County, right across from Metro Rail. It's very important to the city and Dade County overall. So it'll be a mix of residential, office, small, maybe a smaller retail footprint, but we're just starting to have conversations with that group. So,
there's no immediate plan in place to develop that property.
No, which is of great concern. But it's an important project, so it's both exciting, but also of concern. It should be of great concern to the city because that's our largest taxpayer as well. And as everyone knows, our downtown area or commercial area accounts for 2/3 of our tax base. So my concern, Andy, is to your point that there is urgency.
There is.
right? We're not necessarily starting from square one again, but it's certainly a setback.
Well, Josh, thanks for the update on
Thank
Sunset
you.
Place.
Thanks
I know
for having me
that's
today.
I know it's of interest to people throughout Dade County because it's, you're right here at the epicenter of the county in South Miami, a real important area with a metro rail station in the center of this community. So important that development occur in the downtown area of South Miami, I think. But thanks for joining me today here on the Andy Korge Show at Miami Community Newspapers. Tommy Stitt, thanks so much for your professionalism today during this, what Amy Livergood, what's her name, Donner, believes is an unprofessional performance by me today on the Andy Korge Show. But I like that. I'm a radio guy, right? That's what we want. We want people to get a little...
Just like Mark Cuban.
Just like Mark Cuban. Thanks again, Josh. Thanks, Tommy. And we'll see you tomorrow right here at Miami Community News as David Winker joins me for a little roundtable discussion. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.